This is KGW News at 11.
We begin tonight with a warning throughout the Portland metro area. Once again, the Rose City is under a winter weather advisory. Temperatures tonight and into early tomorrow morning are going to be dropping to just above freezing, although there is a slight chance some locations could be waking up to temperatures right at that freezing mark by tomorrow morning. Welcome to KGW News at 11. I'm Joe Ranieri. Now, we're expected to see a few showers overnight, and there's a chance we'll see some snow showers in the higher elevations, potentially mixing all the way down into the valley floor. And looking into the later part of this week, more snow is in the forecast as we get ready to wrap up the month of February. Well, we have team coverage tonight. Bryant Clerkley will bring us the latest on a cleanup effort after this week's weather-related challenges. We'll get to him in just a quick moment. But first, let's go to Daisy Caballero, who's in the Weather Center, tracking the latest conditions.
Yeah, Joe, thank you so much. And yeah, if I can just show you guys our satellite and radar, we are seeing a lot of green and a lot of white and purple, which signifies obviously rain and snow. And this is what we've been dealing with for much of the day, but more is on the way. So this is that system that's going to be bringing us more of these exact same conditions. And again, all depending on what our temperatures are looking like to see if that snow is actually going to be sticking. But looking at those current temperatures right now, pretty close to that freezing degree mark as we're looking at Forest Grove, Timber Junction, 36 degrees in Hillsborough, 35 degrees for King City. But we are already below freezing as we're looking at Pullman, Baker City, John Day, 10 degrees over in Burns. I know they're kind of already used to it, but still 10 degrees is pretty chilly. And as we're looking at our Cascade Pass cameras, again, a lot of snow on these roads. Just take a look at this, 20 degrees as we're looking at Santiam Pass. So if you're planning to travel, if you can wait for these conditions to kind of calm down, that would obviously be the best bet, but not quite seeing those conditions here. 37 degrees in the Portland metro area, winds coming up from the east at right around 6 miles an hour. Now, again, we're expecting for these conditions to stick around tonight, tomorrow, and all the way into Tuesday. Wednesday is probably going to be our best bet to get a little break from these conditions, but we'll talk more about how much snow we could potentially see here in the Portland metro area and also in those higher elevations coming up in my full forecast.
All right, Daisy, looking forward to hearing from you in just a few minutes. Well, several schools will be closed tomorrow. Here's the latest updates we have tonight. We begin with the Multnomah County schools first. The Reynolds School District will be closed tomorrow, and there will be no after-school activities. Schools in the Corbett School District will remain open, but classes will start 2 hours late. Meanwhile, in Clark County, the Green Mountain School District will also have a 2-hour late start, and the Jewel School District in Seaside will start 2 hours late. More snow could be hitting the Portland metro area in the coming days as people are still cleaning up from last week's storm. Warming shelters saw hundreds of people over the last few days. KGW's Bryant Clerkley is in Portland with more on if they'll open throughout this upcoming week. Bryant?
Hey, Joe, more than 800 people stayed in these warming shelters on Friday, and they could open again if the weather gets any worse. And they're closed tonight just because it's not cold enough, but there's still snow-covered roads all over the city, and more snow will just make the problem worse.
I was working delivery, then I go down there, trying to go up, and it gets stuck over there. I couldn't move it at all.
Pama Alakbari is a DoorDash driver from Beaverton that's now regretting dropping off food on this street. He came to West 45th Avenue in Southwest Portland for work and got his car stuck on this steep street that's still covered in snow. When he came back to check on it Sunday afternoon, he couldn't find it. He says it was either towed or stolen.
All this car is here. If it's the towing, so it's gonna take all the cars, not only mine. So I called the police. I'm waiting for there to send an officer.
Wednesday's snowstorm crippled the city, making it hard for drivers to get around. Cars were stuck on highways and side roads, and people abandoned them because they couldn't go anywhere. Several days later, cars were still stuck on West 45th Avenue. Roads like Southwest 16th Avenue and South Corbett Avenue were still snow-covered and dangerous.
No work, of course. What am I gonna do? What I'm gonna do without a car?
The snowstorm forced many into cold weather shelters. More than 850 used the 7 shelter sites at some point on Friday. More than 740 people received free transportation to a shelter, not including those on TriMet. Officials say it could be possible to reopen them this week.
We might get down to temperatures where we're just starting to see really a pattern that we may potentially have to open tomorrow night. So we're preparing for that right now.
Officials with the Portland Bureau of Transportation say a lot of the road conditions have improved since Wednesday. PBOT wants drivers to be prepared for potential snow Monday and Tuesday mornings.
What we're doing right now is we are in full winter weather response and preparation mode. 24-hour coverage, fully staffed, day shift and night shift, 12-hour shifts.
And officials want people to know that if you need a ride to one of these shelters, when they do or if they do reopen, you can call 211. And unfortunately, the Multnomah County Medical Examiner reported one suspected hypothermia death that happened on Wednesday. Joe?
Thanks, Brian. Luckily, as we head into the later part of this week, we'll gradually see temperatures warm up, but Daisy will have more on the forecast in just a few minutes. Bloodworks Northwest is asking for blood donations. After this week's storm, they had to cancel hundreds of appointments, which means folks who need blood might not get it. The organization says it needs 1,000 donors a day to keep a stable blood supply for Pacific Northwest hospitals. Dylan Smith, who supervises the donation center in Vancouver, says it'll take Bloodworks Northwest at least a month to make up for the donations that they couldn't collect this past week.
And if people can't make it to the center to donate blood, there's no blood to offer. And on top of it, people are still in need of blood, right? And so those transfusions are still happening, weather regardless.
Bloodworks Northwest provides about 95% of the blood used in Pacific Northwest hospitals. If you would like to donate to Bloodworks Northwest, you can visit the website you're seeing right now on your screen, bloodworksnw.org. When you visit that website, you can put in your zip code to find a donation location that's closest to you. We will continue to update you on the latest weather news throughout our show tonight. And for weather updates anytime, just download the KGW News app. Now to other local news this evening. One man is dead and another injured after a shooting in Northeast Portland early this morning. It happened in a residential area known as the Hazelwood neighborhood, just the latest spot to be impacted by Portland's ongoing gun violence. Blair Best reports.
Couples on a Sunday morning stroll through what seems to be a quiet residential neighborhood in Northeast Portland.
Well, this is a pretty good area.
Yet around 3:30 Sunday morning, it was anything but good when a shooting left one person dead and another critically injured.
It's a scary feeling.
Randallyn DeWitt woke up to gunshots, followed by police lights flashing through her bedroom window.
Loud pops, consecutive, pretty evenly spaced out.
A sound she says isn't unusual for the area, yet still unsettling.
Way too close, just way too close.
My wife and I woke up to what sounded like medium to loud pops, maybe 4 to 5. And then some screaming that was a little delayed.
We watched as Portland police went door to door looking for evidence and video of the crime. They say no arrests have been made yet and at this time aren't searching for a suspect. They say the man who was critically injured was taken to the hospital. The other man's body, Randallyn saw lying in front of her neighbor's house.
It was in the street. But again, it's like, that's crazy.
So far this year, there have been 8 homicides in Portland. If this one here in the Hazelwood neighborhood is determined to be a homicide, it would be the 9th. Now, according to a KGW analysis, that's less than the number of homicides Portland saw this time last year.
It's concerning. It's alarming.
Some neighbors say it's up to the community to change this violent trend.
To try to solve the issue together, because that's really the only way anything will move forward.
While others look for a more immediate solution.
It's getting crazier and crazier. We all kind of want to move. Our neighbors have said they wanted to move. People that have been here for 30 plus years want to move. It just keeps getting worse.
In Northeast Portland, Blair Best, KGW News.
Four convenience stores in Vancouver were robbed earlier this morning. Now, Vancouver police are looking for the suspects. Here's some of the shots from the stores, with several 7-Eleven and Chevron locations being targeted. The crimes happened only an hour between 6:30 and 7:30 this morning. Vancouver PD says they are looking for 2 or maybe 3 suspects who are likely armed. If you see them, call authorities and do not approach them. Today in Portland, advocates gathered for a freedom rally marking 1 year since Russia launched its invasion on Ukraine. Despite today's cold temperatures, about a dozen folks showed up waving Ukrainian flags and holding signs, some reading "United we stand, divided we fall," and "Stop war." You can also see Ukraine's colors, yellow and blue, illuminated on the Morrison Bridge. Today's rally organizers explains the challenge this year has been.
It's been a hard year for everyone. Because almost everyone here has somebody in Ukraine.
On Friday, the U.S. announced it would send Ukraine and an additional $2 billion in support, including high-tech military equipment and ammunition. Oregon State University is taking a lead role in a big effort to educate the next generation on nuclear forensic scientists. It will join 15 other universities focused on researching new technology for nuclear security and non-proliferation, and an OSU professor will help lead it. Tim Gordon reports.
Like it or not, we live in a nuclear world, whether it's used for power generation or for weapons we hope are never used. So who investigates nuclear material to determine its source, trafficking, enrichment, and intended use to keep things as safe as possible? Nuclear forensic scientists do, basically acting like detectives.
The difference being, in this case, the signature or the fingerprint, so to speak, is nuclear in nature.
Oregon State University's Camille Palmer is a leader in the field and now deputy director of the 16 university consortium, including OSU, that will use a $25 million federal grant to teach and to develop new ways to investigate the powerful material. Applications include energy production at nuclear power plants.
But I think contributing to the greater good of society and ensuring that we can, get all of the good, clean energy out, but also do that in a way that ensures that material is not being misused, not being diverted.
Also to how nuclear weapons programs and treaties are monitored in a world with big concerns in places like Iran and North Korea, and where just this week Russian President Vladimir Putin suspended Moscow's participation in the last remaining nuclear arms reduction deal between the U.S. and Russia.
The weapons are here, they are a threat, and I think anything we can do to help support negotiations, to verify whether international treaties or bilateral agreements is a good step in the right direction.
Important work growing the field and teaching the next generation of nuclear forensic scientists across the country, including here in Oregon.
Oregon State is very well known as an engineering school. We have the nuclear engineering program here, and I think it complements well so the computer science specialties as well.
Tim Gordon, KGW News.
The $25 million grant comes from the U.S. Department of Energy's National Nuclear Security Administration. Oregon State will receive $2.5 million over the next 5 years for its role in the program.